What's going on, guys? It's your boy, and today we got something real special for y'all, man. Today we got the Mortal Kombat review. Let's get it. Yo, all I have to say is I seen the movie. It's an amazing movie, but it's not what we thought it would be. So I want to temper a lot of people's expectations before you go into it. And I just want you to forget everything that you want of this movie and just go into it fresh, wide eyes, because I had to watch the movie twice in order to shake that first feeling of missed expectation or having the feeling that they missed the mark in some ways. Because after my first viewing of the movie, that's how I came out. I came out feeling like the movie was a little bit lackluster, feeling like it didn't live up to my expectations. But I gotta remember, it's not about my expectations. It's about the product that's on screen and what it conveys and how does it convey what will happen in the future. And after sitting back for a couple of minutes, really like thinking about it, going back watching the movie for a second time, and the second time I watched it, I tried to go in with as much. I try to go in as much as possible, not in that mode to where I'm judging this movie as I'm going in there. So I will say this: the first 7 minutes of the movie are a masterpiece, but just by take it with a grain of salt. But the first 7 minutes of the movie is a masterpiece and proof that there is an amazing Mortal Kombat movie that is to be made if you take the source material a slight bit more serious. Um, I feel that just within that 7 minutes could be a vignette on its own. If you spread that 7 minutes to about 10 minutes and really look at that whole 10 minute span, including the fight between Hanzo and Bihan, it's that alone is an amazing vignette of a film. And just by that brief 10 minutes, there's so much before and so much after that closes. There's just so much you want. Your mind is going so many different places because that opening 10 minutes was just so good. The fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero was amazing. Bihan and Hanzo in their human forms were very formidable fighters, man. To be quite honest with you, everything in there looked great. The moves were great. Sub-Zero had a little bit of an upper hand because he already had his supernatural abilities going. That's why you loved how Scorpion came in, because if you look at it, if they were to extend this movie just from that first segment, that sets up Scorpion to be an amazing anti-hero. And yeah, man, I was enthralled within that first 10 minutes of it, man. As the credits were rolling, the Mortal Kombat flashed on screen. I was loving it. If I was to have any drawback on it, it would be about the filming of the fight scene between Bihan and Hanzo. Was I feel like it had too many cuts in there for my use, because those two guys were so good at martial arts, at swordsmanship. I just feel like the way how the movie was cut, it kind of took away a lot of their expertise, as it may. It takes away a little bit of their expertise from coming across on film. It just looks like they're cutting it in a way that anybody could look good doing these things. And no, you have to have that in frame. Show these guys, the real humans, doing these amazing things. And I know that the actors are great at martial arts and at swordsmanship, so it should have been no problem for these guys to be captured on film doing these amazing things. Um, I'm gonna touch on Raiden a little bit more, but I feel like his first entrance in the movie was amazing. The reveal was great. Um, his attitude as the movie went on was a like I said, I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later. But just know I really like the Raiden character. He has a little bit of not a flippancy, but he has a nonchalantness about him. Even though you could see that he takes these things seriously, he has a little bit of a nonchalantness about him that really carries through to make him seem older, to make him seem like he's beyond what we care about, like he's a god, like he should be. And I really like that because that was one of the things that, even though the original portrayal of Raiden in the 1995 Mortal Kombat was not that great, that was one of the things that I like with that original Raiden and Christopher Lambert's portrayal of him. Right after that intro, we go right into seeing Cole Young and what he's doing, how he's living, what he has to do to survive. We meet his family. He has a wife and a daughter, and they're in there helping him. So it seems like everybody's down on their luck in this one. He's fighting for $200 at the drop of a hat. He just has to get over there and start fighting. Ha! Get over there. There's a lot of things that allude to him being a great fighter in the past, but right now he just looks like he wants a shot to get back in there. He just wants to keep fighting, and this is the only way that he could be able to keep fighting at this point in his life. He's just holding on to it, not only for himself and his pride, but to keep his family afloat. Sub-Zero's re-entrance was just amazing, man. I can't lie to you. I feel like that whole scene was just really tense, really ominous, and it was just fun for anybody who's a fan of Mortal Kombat, who's a fan of the lore and the series, to see Sub-Zero in a modern day setting just wrecking shop and causing all types of havoc in the mortal world because nobody could really stop him there. Fight between Sub-Zero and Jax was amazing. Again, and I know I'm gonna keep you reusing amazing because like that's what a lot of this movie was to me, man. It just took a lot of the things from both of the old Mortal Kombat movies and put them together in this movie, but just turned it up to an 11 when it came to the action, the scenes, how they look, the graphics. Dude, I only have like certain complaints on this movie, and I'm not letting my complaints outweigh how much I really like this movie. And I can't even lie to you, everything was good, man. The fight between him and Jax was another great fight. I loved how it seems like such a struggle for Jax, but he was holding his own in the beginning for a little bit, and as soon as Sub-Zero got tired of playing around, because you know from the moment the gun was fired, well, from the moment he catches the gun and he shoots it and freezes the bullets, you know it was all gonna be downhill for Jax. But he drags it, Sub-Zero drags it out, making you know that he wants Jax to feel the pain and endure everything that he's doing to him right now. He gets joy from it, and it was really sick and sadistic and cold, pardon the pun, for him to do that. And when he was breaking his arms off, to just stare him down as he's doing it. Yeah, man, I really did like that scene, man. I really liked how everything came together. It goes on to give you a little bit of backstory on Sonya and Jax, and you know the story of Sonya and Jax hasn't really changed that much from the games and the movies all the way up to this current iteration. You know, they were both in the military. They're both great soldiers, and in this version, they went on a mission to get somebody in South America. That person turned out to be someone with a mark on them. Jax ended up killing that person, and that's how he gets entwined into the whole Mortal Kombat lore. That's how he gets to get the tattoo, or gets the mark that signifies that he's going to be one of Earth's champions. And they just go on this massive quest to find out, what does that mark even mean? How did it come about? And when we catch up with Sonya in this one, they're 7 years in. She has a bunker. She feels like she feels like Sarah Connor turned up to 10, turned up to an 11, to be quite honest with you, because she has all of the crazy, I've been doing this for way too long, I've been put through the ringer. She has all of that in her face, and then she just has the fighting skills to bump it up to like an 11. And I really liked her character, man. She was driven the entire movie. She was making great decisions, and yet she was caring. You know, she felt horrible for what happened to Jax. You know, she wishes that she was there to help him out. Even if she were to die, she would have gladly laid down her life to help her friend. And that's the Sonya we get in this movie. A driven person, a person that's trying to find answers, a person that's trying to find the truth, and a person that will whoop your ass if you push her to the limit. So yeah, we meet Sonya, and we're getting into her character, and while she's going through what's going on, we find out that she already had apprehended Kano, and she has him tied up in the room. On a previous mission where they was trying to find another champion, Kano got to that champion first, slit his throat, and he inherited the mark. Kano is another great person, another great character in this movie, because he was definitely true to his game self, but his game self was turned up to an 11. The attitude on this Kano, the gruffness on this Kano, everything just says Kano but turn up. He was funny in this. He was really funny. I think that actor is actually a comedian. Him being another version of Cole Young in this whole film was great, because Cole was the fish out of water who was really stoic about everything. He just wanted to know earnestly what was going on. And Kano was the fish out of water who was just totally blown away by everything, that was cracking jokes on everything, that was, when he found out about the powers, he was just like ecstatic about it. He wanted to know what his power was going to be. And I'm not even going to lie, just his kid-like, childlike joy that he brought to this film was greatly appreciated by me. And shout out to that actor, by the way. But also, he still had that menace about him. And you could tell from the little things that you heard in the film. Now, you could say that the film was stuffed with a lot of backstory. You could say it was stuffed with a lot of dialogue talking about backstory. But I really do appreciate that. And I feel like if you want to build a world, you will throw one or two little tidbits out there. Let's get people hyped up for that character that they're talking about right there. Give him a little bit of the backstory. Let them know where this character is coming from and how this character might change in the future. It was really convenient for Kano to have an idea of where Lord Raiden's castle was. But then again, from his backstory that they did allude to, you know that he's been around the world, he deals in back market things, and if anybody is gonna know where some hidden temple is, that or some hidden area is, it's gonna be him, because he's the one that's connected with a global entity, a global black market entity that deals in these paths and goes around all known areas, because they don't want to deal with whoever. They don't want to deal with the police. They don't want to deal with law enforcement in general. Yeah, but it was around here that I started feeling like the pacing was moving a little bit too fast, because it started jumping from plot point to plot point to plot point, and it slows down a little bit. Once we get to Lord Raiden's, once we get to Raiden's temple, everything slows down just a touch, and we try to go into character building territory to where we get more story. We also get two new characters. Just before they enter Raiden's temple, we get Liu Kang, and later on we get Kung Lao. And it's not necessarily the Kung Lao that we know in the game, but it's a version of the Kung Lao that we know in the games. This Kung Lao that we know that's from this movie is also a descendant of the Kung Lao that we know in the game. So they try to keep everything in story as much as possible, and I really appreciated them for that. As we're talking about characters that we meet right now, we meet Liu Kang. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Once we meet this Liu Kang, it's kind of weird for me, because we're so used to the Mortal Kombat of old, it's weird when we move off of Liu Kang as the main character and he's just a side character in this story, because as he's telling his backstory in this, in my head I was just like, dang, I would have loved to seen that. I would have loved to see that on the big screen this time around. But I know that if this movie does well, we are gonna get to see that pretty soon. But this movie has to do well. That's why I wish like they got everything done. Going back to Kung Lao for a little bit, I loved his entrance in here, and I feel like every scene that he was in felt really elevated to me for some reason. I liked his character. I liked the portrayal of his character here. We get to see Kung Lao, and we really get enthralled with his character, because he seemed, from the moment he came on screen, he seemed confident, but not cocky. He seemed competent, like he knew what exactly he had to do and how to do those things. And he got an actual flawless victory in this joint and called it right after he said it. So like, you know what I mean? Straight out of the video games into real life, that was his fatality, and it was a flawless victory. You can't have it no better than that. Kung Lao was really doing his job on here, and I really appreciated that actor for being in there, for kicking ass, for doing his job, and doing it well, I might say. So they kind of neutered Liu Kang in this a little bit, but they made up for it at the end. But I love his first fight with Cabal. It was showing a little bit of struggle, even though it was like cutting back and forth between him. But every time you see him and Cabal, like, I wanted to see that fight. I wanted to see a full version of that fight. So Sonya fighting Melina was amazing. Jax's first fight was all bad. After that fight, everybody gathered back together, licking their wounds, formulated another plan, and went back out there. And these second rounds of fights is where we get our full Mortal Kombat movie that we really needed and we really wanted, because they went all out on these fights, even though I still do feel like they could have looked a lot better if we had like a more experienced director at the helm. But regardless of that, these fights was everything that I could have wanted, man. Sonya fighting Kano, it was a different type of tough than the 1995 version of Sonya fighting Kano, but it was still that visceral knockdown, drag out type of fight where everything was getting thrown, where you felt almost every hit of it. And I really do like it, man. They gave you a little throwback to where she got him by the head with her legs, and I thought they was going to do it right there, but they didn't. They held off on it, and it was amazing, man. I really did like that fight, and that was one of the things that I was really looking forward to, if they was going to keep that really visceral fight, that really graphic and visceral fight between Kano and Sonya. Honestly, I don't even remember who the hell Jax was fighting in the second round. It doesn't really matter. It was some guy with a hammer. That wasn't Shao Kahn. I think if you watch it back in slow-mo, when he hit him with the fist a couple times, I think he knocked his nose off before like he smashed his head. Like there was a split second there where you just seen like no nose on his face, and like the nose hole. Like just the flat jaw behind it. And I was just like, oh, that looked crazy. And then he mashed his head in, and I was just like, oh my God, they went for it. But I seen it in the trailer, but I was still like shocked for like a split second, because I seen the jaw with the nose cut off and shit. So everything worked out, man. I really did enjoy it, man. Then we have the final fight of the movie, man. And I can't even lie to you. Like, I don't know what could have made this fight better. I do feel like I have an affinity for Scorpion, so I do feel like they kind of sidetracked my boy just a tad, you feel me? But at the same time, the fight between Cole and Sub-Zero / Cole and Scorpion versus Sub-Zero was amazing. I like the flip on this one, where in the first movie, 1995, we went into Scorpion's world for a fight scene, and in this movie, we went into Sub-Zero's world for a fight scene. It was amazing. great uses of visuals, great uses of VFX, amazing hand-to-hand combat, great building of tension, and when that spear finally does come in, man, and you see that camera pan to the side and all you hear is, "Get over here." Oh jeez, man. Take my money. Take my money. You got it. You got it. This is exactly what I needed, man. This is exactly what I waited 23 years for, man. A movie like this to come back along to make me feel like a kid again, and I was excited about it, man. They did almost everything that I wanted to do. They even went ahead and made him do his toasty fatality, and this time it didn't fail like it did in the 1995 version. This time he left his ass toasty for real. You feel me? I was amazed by it, man. I was great by it. It was definitely a great experience for me. But I will say this: in closing, there was a lot of pros in this movie, but there was also a lot of cons. This movie was not necessarily what I expected when I was going in, but it turned out to be something that I really do enjoy, that I really will be watching time and time again. Will it end up turning to be a classic like the 1995 version? I don't know, but right now it's what we have, and it's what I'm going to keep enjoying for years to come. In closing, I would say if you're going to watch the new Mortal Kombat, I would say try to go in there with an open mind as much as possible. Don't have that many expectations, and just understand it will be an amazing fight film where you get to watch your favorite characters hit their fatalities for the most part. I think everybody does one of their fatalities in here. Yeah, so you will get your favorite characters doing their fatality at one point or another in here. And if you don't have your favorite character doing their fatality, you would understand by the entire premise of this movie that is just a setup so you can have your favorite character doing their famous moves in the next movie. Because that was my takeaway from this movie, especially towards the end. They didn't have a post-credit scene per se, but their ending stinger was a lingering shot on a poster for one of Johnny Cage's movies. So, you know, he's going to Hollywood to go find somebody, and we all know who it is. But yeah, guys, I love Mortal Kombat, guys. If you've seen it, jump down in the comment box and let me know what you thought about it, man. What was some of your favorite moments? Who's your favorite character? And who had the best fatality of the film? If you like what we doing here, please remember to like and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you can be notified when we upload new videos. We out.